Welcome to this CyberKen blog post. I'm going to be giving you a brief tour today of the free open source sound editor called Audacity. And I thought it would be fun to make a composition of 3 bird songs and a little piano music today. In order to open a file in Audacity, you first open the program. You're looking at the open window of Audacity right here, and I'm going to drag a MP3 file of the call of the northern cardinal onto the open window, and it opens its own track. Notice this is the graph showing the sound pattern, and if it's flat, it means there's no sound in that portion. I'm going to go over here to the left and drop the volume of this bird song considerably, because I've noticed that when I try to play this file back, for some reason, after editing in my recording of the screen software, it ends up very loud. So I'm going to drop it considerably down to about there, -20. And then I will mute that track by going over here to the mute button, clicking on the mute button. Notice it turns the graph from blue to gray. Now I'm going to go over here and drag and drop another mono file, 1-track sound file. And this is the sound of the white-throated sparrow. I'm also going to drop his volume down to about -20. There we go. And let's see what he sounds like. Alone, he doesn't sound too spectacular, but you will see when we combine him with others, it makes a nice composition. Now, the next bird is from a different part of the country, the western meadowlark, and it has been recorded as a stereo track. So notice there are 2 tracks in this case, and I'm also going to drop the western meadowlark down to about -20. That should do it. I'm going to mute the sound of the sparrow, and we'll just listen to the sound of the meadowlark. Now, on all 3 of those bird songs, notice that we had quite a bit of silence in between the sound that the bird makes. So I'm going to look for the places in the composition where there's silence on all 3, and it looks to be about right in there. I'm going to select that and hit the backspace key so that we have sounds overlapping each other sometimes and doing away with some of the silence. All right. Here's a place where there's a lot of silence. And it looks pretty good. I'm going to take away some of this silence. All right. Now, let's go back and unmute the bird tracks so that everybody ends up with a blue graph. Back my cursor up, hit the play button, and let's see what it sounds like. It's beginning to sound like a summer morning. All right, now let's add some piano music. This is player piano music. Drop it on the timeline. And notice the graph is kind of strange at the beginning and the end. It tapers from silence. It gets louder and louder and louder here on the left. and from the average height, it goes down, 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 down towards silence at the end. How did I do that? I did that with Audacity. If you select a portion of your sound file and go up to Effects under the Effects menu, you will find a fade in choice and a fade out choice. If you select fade in, you go from silence to louder and louder and louder, okay? And if you choose fade out, the opposite. So that's how you would alter the sound of a recording so that it tapers in and tapers out. You go to the effects and choose fade in or fade out. There are many other effects, as you saw. My goodness, so many, many, many effects, and you can put in funny sounds like a wah wah and all sorts of stuff. So you can have fun exploring that later. But let's see how this composition sounds now. We'll go back to the beginning and play. Kind of nice, but the piano's a bit too loud. Let's damp the piano volume down also, about the same amount. We'll go down to -15 maybe. There we go. Okay, now let's try that. Back to the beginning and play. Wonderful. Now, if I want to make an MP3 file from that project, first I have to save the project. I go up to the file and save the project by selecting Save Project. And it invites me to name the project. I'm going to call it Piano and Birds. Telling me I already saved that. I'm going to call it Birds and Piano. All right. Okay. Now, that was so I wouldn't duplicate my projects. So I've saved the project, and now if I wanted to export it as an MP3 file, I would go to the File menu and select Export, and it's going to call it Birds and Piano, and it's selected on an MP3 file. Notice that there are several other choices, a number of different kinds of sound files that you can export to, but I'll choose MP3 in this case and click Save. And then it exports that MP3 file to my desktop. In order to do that exporting, you have to install a plugin called Lame. The link to that program is in my blog post. It is a free program, and it's not a lame program at all. It works quite well. I don't know why they called it lame. But once you install that program, you'll be set to use Audacity to compose and save all kinds of sound files. Have fun and continue to learn by experimenting. Hope you come back. Bye-bye.